Bandang alas 4 ng madaling araw, naglandfall ang bagyong Yolanda sa Giwan, Eastern Samar.
November 2013. Typhoon Haiyan, also known as Super Typhoon Yolanda, landed in the Philippines. It was one of the strongest tropical cyclones ever recorded. For all we know, this crisis led to discussions all over the world.
We begin with the growing desperation and devastation following the super typhoon in the Philippines.
Jonathan Corpus Ong developed the research that looks into the interactions between producers and the poor people who are subjects of appeals. He also took into account the producers' strategies as regards to local media conventions of representing suffering within a culture of disaster. Media narratives are assumed to create positions of maximal distance that either cause only compassion fatigue or a productive proper distance based on mutual understanding and empathy. In Ong's research, he called the 15 producers of television network charity appeals from 2009 to 2014 as agents of ethical translation. Does charity appeal as poverty porn? Ong mentioned that charity appeals activate pity among audiences, and according to Lily Choli Araki, there are different techniques in Western humanitarian advertising. First is shock effect campaigning, wherein it dehumanizes non-Western others by showing human bodies in a pornographic spectatorial manner. It is children-centered charity advertisements activate compassion from potential donors.
Save the Children know what it takes to save Ferdowsi, but we can only save children because someone cares enough to pick up the phone and make a difference.
Second is positive imagery. It involves the narratives of sufferers and makes the presence of the benefactors essential to garner empathy.
What would you do if there was a child right in front of you, sitting all alone, crying in pain from hunger, near death from sickness?
Last is post-humanitarian irony. This avoids factual representation of suffering and uses cartoon animation, computer-generated imagery, actors, and the foregrounding of corporate brands while erasing sufferers from the picture.
We are all part of the solution. Poverty is solvable.
Here in the Philippines, videos on media are produced by the charities and television networks. They lean towards the shock effect style and documentary mode of filmmaking. They include testimonials from people who display an excess of emotion on camera, which evokes pity from viewers that can help them get donation.
Tulungan niyo po ako na gumaling itong sakit ginawa sa akin. Sana bumalik sa dati na kasi gusto ko pang mag-aral. Sana tulungan niyo po ako sa mga operation or offer ako na gawing normal lang aking mukha at leg.
Television networks are venues for legal advice, medical assistance, money lending, referrals to NGOs and government offices.
Ba't ayaw mong suportahan? Pwede ka namin pakulong sa BAUC, Violence Against Women and Children, dahil hindi sa pagsuporta sa anak.
O sir, paano kung hindi pa suportahan? Sir, nasa akin naman yung bata.
Overrepresenting the poor can also be seen in game shows such as Wawawi, wherein it conditions Filipinos into getting easy money rather than earning it the hard way. This example shows culture of mendicancy. So the question is, what really is the role of media in context to poverty and disaster? Ong explains that media has positioned themselves as responsible agents to fill the gap of weak government. By understanding the producers, we can also see the strategies they use. The first one is strategy of compliance, wherein the producer follows institutional interests and established procedural codes. Here, Ong focused on the production of child-centered charity appeals. Producers of child-centered appeals generally comply with the normal use of screening the subjects in filming, which is usually close-ups of a child's body defects.
Diagnosed with progressive hydrocephalus, the young girl now needs ventriculoperitoneal shunting to drain off the excess water from her head and eventually another operation to remove the growing lump on her nose.
The second one is translation with greater risk and resistance. This situates a producer with a stronger imperative to transmute personal care that challenges the norms of production. Here, Ong focused on producers of disaster appeals, specifically with context of Typhoon Haiyan's exceptional devastation.
Ilan ho na isalban yung tao dito, Tang?
Mga 100 mahigit.
Buhay lahat yung mga pamilya nyo. Pakita namin yung mukha ninyo para makita ng mga kamag-anak nyo na okay kayo.
He found out that producers embrace as primary their roles as charity employees over that of media producers. It is not a job, it is a service. The sense of fulfillment of being able to help resolve the suffering of many Filipinos that motivates producers to continue their work in producing media charity programs.
I have to admit, hanggang ngayon umiyak pa rin ako kapag napapanood ko yung video. Ito ay parangal sa lahat ng patrol ng Pilipino.
The question of why do we care about how we as part of the media industry represent those suffering is important to take note of because they have real-world consequences to the people we represent.